Have with us Pawan Duggal, who is a cybersecurity expert. We have Robert Potter, senior fellow at the Australian National University. Good evening to both of you for joining us here on Times Now. Let's first take opening comments from my guests who are live with us this evening. Then I'll go across to my viewers as well. Pawan Duggal, very quickly, what is your point of view? Should India also have a policy like this?
It's very clear that India as a nation is dramatically different from other nations. We are governed by the living constitution, the Constitution of India. We've also in place a very strong, robust cyber law in the form of Information Technology Act 2000. We've got various rules and regulations under the said law, including the IT Directions 2022 and the IT Rules 2021. So clearly we have in place adequate mechanism for preventing misuse of social media. But if you're looking at completely trying to block social media, I don't think India is a place to be, because blocking is a 19th century mindset dealing with a 21st century problem. It's not going to, in any case, be relevant at all. So therefore, we have to look at more cogent approaches of how we can go ahead and proactively regulate social media misuse in a manner so that it does not go against the sovereignty, security, integrity of the country or the friendly relations with other nations or public order. So all said and done, I think India has a different approach. India needs to follow its own path. It can take into mind what others are doing, but will have to follow its own route.
Interesting point of view there. What do you think, Robert Potter? Because Elon Musk has also jumped into this entire story. You heard his reaction as well to the Australian Prime Minister.
So there is a massive debate in Australia about the balance between the need to protect children from accessing harmful content online and the ongoing efforts to maintain privacy. So Australia has taken a very different approach to this than, say, for example, India. So in Australia, for example, we're banning all social media for people under the age of 16. However, in India, they ban specific platforms. So, for example, TikTok is banned in India. So India has had debates about specific platforms, whereas Australia is having a debate about all platforms and is going to regulate them all equally. Now, there is a concern, particularly around the amount of data on citizens that will need to be collected in order to enforce this. So the concern amongst people who do not support this bill is that there will be a need to collect everyone's ID in Australia in order to prevent young people from accessing platforms. That then creates a very large data platform of identity documents held by sometimes not particularly friendly countries, like TikTok being headquartered in China.
Yes.
You know, there are significant concerns about handing over the identity documents of Australian citizens to a company whose headquarters is in China. And then the question is those pools of documents will become very attractive to hackers. So there are significant balances that will need to be found to make this work in Australia. But there is an overwhelming agreement in Australian politics that social media for young people needs to be regulated in much the same way that movies are regulated when you're watching something at the theatre.
Absolutely.